everything paranormal. Para-X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Merry meets and merry part, bright the cheeks and warm the heart, but tread the circle thrice about, to keep unwelcome spirits out. Abide within the law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Mind the threefold laws you should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. These 8 words the read fulfill, and ye harm none, do what ye will.
Welcome to Stirring the Cauldron. Now, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
Merry meet everybody and welcome. Now tonight you're going to be introduced to a wonderful new oracle deck called Dream Your Joy, and it was created by Judy Mastrangelo. I'll get it out one of these days. Judy's an artist and who's painted all of her life, and she daydreams about her paintings before putting them on canvas. She does art prints, she does murals, and licenses her wide variety of work to many markets. She's done artwork for inspirational decks and has written and also authored several books. Now, as usual, questions and comments are welcome in the chat room here at paraxradionetwork.com. And as an extra bonus tonight, Judy will be doing some card readings for those of you in chat who may want one, and as time allows. So let's get started. And Judy, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Marla. It was very kind of you, and it's the second time I've been here and in your show, and it's a wonderful show. Thank you again.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. The deck is a really interesting deck, you know. I guess all oracle decks are different in whatever way they are, but, you know, you did all the illustrations, and it's just really interesting. And, you know, like you bring your vision to life on the canvas and in books. So what inspired you to create an oracle deck?
Well, one of my intentions in creating this deck is to share what gives me happiness in life with the hope that it will inspire others. My quest is to encourage people to find contentment by doing what they truly enjoy. Mm-hmm. Now, we all have innate talents that lie deep inside of us. You might have them hidden from childhood within your soul. All it takes is for you to find them and kiss them to awaken, to grow, and help you develop into a fantastic being. Now, I've worked with many types of people over the years, from young children to teens, adults, and seniors, and I've urged them to discover themselves through art, such as painting, drama, dance, music. And having had these wonderful experiences with people of all ages and backgrounds has been one of my many inspirations. So I've incorporated this background into my new oracle card deck. For instance, I include painting and drawing and forms of dance and music and movement, often with music, as some of the fun type meditations and activities to go with several of my cards. Now, later on in life, as I got into publishing more of my paintings, books, and card decks, I felt very gratified to reach even more people throughout the world with my artwork. It's really a wonderful feeling to realize that people may be uplifted by some of my visions, and to think that perhaps I've inspired others to develop their own creativity also. And of course, my wonderful husband, Michael, has always been a great inspiration to me with this and all of my other oracle card decks, books, and artwork. He's always so uplifting and encouraging, being a philosopher, poet, author, composer, and many other things.
Everybody wears so many hats, which is a really good thing.
Yes, definitely.
So how did you choose the name of the deck? Because it's really very simple.
Yeah.
And it covers, sometimes when you want to call something, you just can't get the right wording to get
Right.
your message across. So how did you do this?
Right. Well, basically, I'm a positive person and try my best to find beauty and happiness in life. And we all go through sadness, of course, but I feel that trying to see the joy in our circumstances can make us more cheerful, energetic, and healthy. So I encourage people to develop a mind painting in their imagination of their ideal self, a portrait of the wonderful person that they would like to strive to be. They can truly determine the best ways they can to improve in order to develop themselves to the utmost and fulfill their highest dreams. And I feel that developing one's imagination is a tremendous aid to self-fulfillment. Also, some of my favorite worlds and beings which greatly inspire me, I found to be the imaginary spirits of the world of fantasy, such as fairies and elves. So I'm very happy depicting this eternal world since it makes me feel young and joyful. That's one of the reasons I named this deck Dream Your Joy, and why much of the artwork included has fantasy themes. So Dream Your Joy, as you said, seemed to be a good title for my oracle deck. It's short and to the point and appears to be a good way to describe my feelings.
And so the purpose of the deck is joy, or at least calm, or anything but strife kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's so many different cards that are also different. Some are fantasy, as you said, as you just explained, and I mean you've covered all bases, I think.
Right. So the purpose of the deck is no matter how life has gotten us down, we're all fortunate in many ways and should try to be more optimistic and attempt to improve ourselves. Now, that's easy to say because I know and understand that many of us have very dismal problems, of course. My personal feeling about the oracle card decks I create is that they give the reader the opportunity to delve deeply into their private and sacred being, to seek truths that may have been covered over for years. I like the idea that such a card deck can aid one to develop their intuitive abilities of healing, creativity, and self-realization, among other things. So I also discuss several subjects which have helped me throughout my life. And although I'm mainly a professional fine art painter and author, there are other things I examine in my card deck. But first, I always stress that I am not a healthcare professional. I just like talking about topics I've experienced which have been helpful and enjoyable in my lifetime. I realize that everyone must come to conclusions about what will be best for them. So by contacting your inner self, you will discover what will work for you. We all have great resources in this day and age in order to research many things, and there are many types of professional people we can consult with also, such as healers, alternative medical practitioners, MDs, DOs, etc. And in my personal experience, I've researched various topics and have consulted with many different kinds of professionals regarding best ways to be healthy and happy. And I've been lucky to find some wonderful and talented people who've helped me to maintain my health of body and mind. And I admit I have a long way to go, and sometimes I don't do everything I should do, but I'm working on it. And I also have developed my own original methods, which I find work for me and that I mention in the card deck. So I do like to hope that through my art and writing, I can uplift others so that they might feel their lives have become brighter and more cheerful. since there's so much sadness, I just want to help as much as I can through my creative works, and I hope my deck will inspire others to do the same by discovering and developing their own creativity. It's really so captivating and delightful to do this.
Mm-hmm. You're doing it for us and for yourself in a sense.
Right,
right. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things, the phrase came up when I was looking through the booklet, which is really interesting to read. But you talk about mind painting. What is mind painting?
Well, actually, we all do mind painting in some form or another when we create thoughts and ideas. Mm-hmm. The concept has existed throughout time and is really nothing new. I've just put my own title to this process. People have often thought creatively, no matter what the topic. They might be very inventive and original in the art of gardening, cooking, sports, etc. And they might be visionary and imaginative in the fine arts, such as music, literature, dance, painting, drama, etc. So my great passion, I'm sure you didn't know this by now, is the art of painting. The reason I mention this is because I use the theme of mind painting to be a method in which one can do many things. So I feel this technique can help everyone to paint a picture in their mind of their inner ideal self that they would like to be. We all have dreams and goals that have been in our hearts and souls, sometimes originating from childhood. As I said, often we abandon these wishes early in life because they may seem too unrealistic or idealistic or too childlike. But if we reach deep within our hearts where we've hidden our secret dreams from our early years, we will find many exciting and surprising treasures. If we rethink our youthful wishes, we might find things we could develop which will potentially be very helpful in understanding our present-day situations and possibly help us resolve some problems we are going through. And if you give me a second, I can give you some examples.
Yeah, please.
Paint a mind painting in your imagination of your ideal self, the way you would like to be today. It could be a new you that you could enjoy working on becoming, such as becoming healthier, more attractive, knowledgeable, and more creative. So as I mentioned, I enjoy sharing my thoughts about life and art through my creative work. I'm primarily a graphic artist, and I love painting at my easel. Usually my graphic art ideas come first, and then if I'm creating an illustrated book or oracle card deck, the writing just flows, inspired by my images in my mind that I call mind paintings. And they just seem to coalesce, like when you gaze at clouds in the sky. And images appear. It's a form of scrying, such as done when you gaze into a crystal bowl or into a pond with ripples. So my main intention is to develop my imagination through creating art forms that I enjoy. These are my own personal things that I love to do the most, and to me, they are magical in themselves. So my quest is to encourage people to find what they truly appreciate. And I feel that's a wonderful way to be happy.
And sometimes we don't think about things like that, you know?
Right.
And this helps bring it out. And as you said, the imagination. Some people have a great imagination. Some people don't really, because they think maybe it's not real or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but everybody has the potential for it.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't all have great talents, but we all have talents. And imagination is something that I think it's within all of us, really.
It's you know, I mean, this is kind of, you know, a deck that is kind of healing in a sense.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Yeah, but okay, my oracle deck, the last one I did was 45 cards, and after about 30, when I was deciding what I needed how many more I needed and what would they be, I kind of was running dry for a while. Now, your deck is a 59 card deck.
Right.
So how did you choose the illustrations for each card?
Well, I'm sort of I go with the flow, so to speak. I don't follow rules. Just I'm not even I don't even make rules for myself. I didn't consciously choose the artwork for each card. It all seemed to evolve like a flower blooming, just growing on its own. When I developed the overall theme, the artwork appeared in my head. The thoughts and images just expanded and developed all together, melding into each card, then suggesting another card and then another. Finally, they all seemed to become an entity. It was like a stream of consciousness that was born inside of my head and then manifested as the total deck. And I felt the artwork in my heart, and all the paintings all fit together naturally like a jigsaw puzzle. I know that sounds funny, but when I create my work, whether it's an oracle deck, a painting, or a book, I have fun with it. I'm like a child again playing with my toys. I know it may sound funny for an adult to talk like this, but I found that I do my best artwork when I'm enjoying it. If it's not something I like to do, it doesn't turn out as well. So I endeavored to contact my inner child, the young person of my youth, who still lives within my heart and always will, no matter how old I am. So through my childlike imagination that has always been with me my entire life, I have fun creating, and that's how the illustrations for my card deck were chosen. But I must admit that it's as if they chose me. These images seemed like living beings. It's similar what happens in the Harry Potter books by J.K. Rowling. Harry and his friends didn't choose their wands chose them, if you remember.
Yes.
So.
No, I get it, because, in writing, sometimes, especially when I was writing two fiction books, it seemed like they were writing themselves.
Right.
And it was kind of creepy in the beginning, because
That's called inspiration.
And I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know, it was like reading a book rather than writing one. So I totally understand. And the fact that you really like, doing it and everything. I mean, that's why I play around with my banners. I get really engrossed when I'm making them and trying to make things work, and it's kind of joyful in a way.
That's why it turned out so beautifully. They all do.
Well, most of them. There's always going to be one in the thing.
Well,
all right, so let's talk about the difference between like an oracle deck and the tarot, because tarot decks, you have spreads. It could be a 3-card spread, it could be, a 15-card spread or whatever. Oracle decks, now I made 2 spreads for my oracle deck. One is in the shape of a broom and the other one's in, whatever, the little witchy spreads. But, it's, some people go one a day, like angel cards, maybe they do. So what do? Can you do like a past, present, and future? Because I can't see them having a spread. If I'm wrong, correct me. But it's just like it's like a 1-card deal at a time, right? Or
well,
not?
I don't really go by rules.
Good.
I don't even suggest rules. But my idea is that this card deck is intended for both beginners and experienced oracle card readers. So I suggest to let your mind relax as well as your body, and then you will find that any questions you are looking for to be answered might appear. So go to a special place where you can be alone in your own little world. Then sit quietly, breathing slowly and deeply as you relax and feel yourself in a peaceful state. Close your eyes or stare softly into space. Look deep inside the mirror of yourself to see what questions you need answered, such as what is bothering you. Then throw your questions out into the air. When you concentrate your mind on this oracle deck, the answers you're searching for might appear from deep inside of you. They may be sent from your spirit guardians who watch over you, from Mother Nature, or any other number of wonderful ethereal places. If you feel like it, you can spread all the cards lightly out on a table and pass your hands gently over them, feeling their warmth and vibrations. By touching the cards, your intuition will draw you to one or several at that moment. Mm-hmm. Separate those particular ones from the main deck. This one card or group of cards will be your reading for the day. But if this process doesn't seem right for you, be creative and develop your own personal method that you enjoy the most. The main idea is have fun with the cards.
That's the important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people sometimes are afraid of cards. They think it's hocus pocus, and they're going to get poked in the eye if they do it. But
it's just like a book. When
it is. I don't know. I guess some people are afraid of anything metaphysical, and cards are metaphysical and divination, but they're so helpful in so many ways. And being helpful in the booklet that comes along with it. You explain what each card is about, and then, depending on the card, you have like meditations or exercises or affirmations and more things. I think that's a little bit different than most oracle decks in a good way. So how did you decide the theme? You talked about it a little bit ago, but how did you decide the theme of each card?
Right. As you mentioned, Marla, in the accompanying booklet to the deck, I've written some encouraging and positive affirmations and meditations to go with some of the cards. I also discuss the colors of my artwork on the cards in terms of the fascinating meanings of the spiritual chakras, which can be helpful. So some of the activities can be done just in your mind, since they might include experiencing things of the past and contacting loved ones not on the earth plane anymore. We can remember them in a wonderful way and bring them back in our minds, since they will always exist within our hearts. Now, in this deck, I've developed certain general themes for specific groups of the cards. Then I put each card in one of these groupings according to the subject matter and message of the artwork. So I just tell you a few examples. One of the themes is try to stay connected with family and friends, such as the card Keep in Touch, sending a dove letter of love. Another card in that theme is family, enjoy your close time together. Then another theme I have is maintaining good health, and the one card is Sleeping Bunny, peaceful rest is essential to health. And another card in that theme is graceful and strong, becoming your ideal. Now, another theme is developing imagination and creativity. And one of the cards in that category is Come Fly to the Stars, enter the celestial plane. And another card in that category is Forest Folk, make a visit to enchantment. Then I have two more. The next theme is Protecting Our Planet. One of the cards is Protector of Nature, love our planet. And then the other is Our Animal Friends. They give us guidance and protection in life. Then the last theme I'll mention is Developing Self-Esteem and Happiness. One card is Shy Violet. Everyone goes through periods of feeling inadequate and then feeling lost, where you will find your way. And the last one, Joyful Fairy, bring out your happiness. That's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're all beautiful cards, and
Thank
I got kind of brave because we have to verbally explain the cards rather
Sure.
than showing them. But I drew a couple of cards because they're all different. And the first one, let's talk about this one, is the protector of nature. And that card comes with a meditation. So can you tell us about that card and read the meditation?
Sure. The card Protector of Nature is subtitled Love Our Planet. The artwork shows a lovely regal woman standing atop a mountain in a colorful sunset. She appears as an Earth Mother who lovingly watches over the beautiful wildlife animals, mostly endangered species. And the message of the card is that all creatures of nature depend on one another, learning to coexist in peaceful harmony. Protecting our environment is very important for the preservation of all species who live here. So if we watch over all of them and become aware of our environment, we will help in our way to love our dear Mother Earth and all her children. And that includes her kingdoms of animals, plants, and the vast lands and waterways. We all live on a very special planet and are extremely lucky to do so. We're not sure there's life on other planets, so we can hope. But anyway, the meditation I put is you can practice this either in your special private room or outside where you can feel the breeze and smell aroma of flowers. Picture yourself on a mountaintop overlooking a vast landscape of mountains, trees, and rivers. Below you pass by herds of beautiful animals. Feel the deep love for all this natural beauty which envelops around you. Embrace all things, the magnificent sky with colorful clouds, majestic animals, and spectacular trees and waterways. This fantastic scene will be awe-inspiring, and you can carry it in your heart whenever you need motivation and encouragement. Strive in your own way to keep life pure and to always be a protector of nature. This will give you great joy, and you will give a gift to the earth.
I think, I was going to say we could start, and we can, because I picked two cards, actually. And the second card was completely different. It was Pegasus and the Moon. And that one has a poem, and the message is creating. So can you fill in the blanks here?
Sure. This painting that I did illustrates part of a poem from the Flyaway Horse, which is written by one of the great children's poets, Eugene Field. You remember him? He did Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod.
Oh, uh-huh.
So, yeah, as I've mentioned, I feel that the fine arts are some of the most wonderful creations of humankind. They really inspire me, such as great works of literature like this wonderful poem. And when I talk about creating, I encourage people to steep themselves in amazing works of art that they enjoy. Dream over them, drink them in, and delight in their deliciousness. They can be favorite stories and poems in books, movies, musical shows, operas, plays, ballets, paintings, etc. They could be creations by great artists of the past and present. Pick one of your favorites to start off with. It could be something that you've loved ever since you were a child, or something new that you've just discovered. You can first try closing your eyes and creating a mind painting inspired by this piece of art. See what comes to your mind. It could be ideas for another story, a sculpture, painting, a song, or a dance. You might just see various colors floating by at first. Soon, random pictures might start to appear, which you will certainly find interesting. Then when you begin to control the passing images that you see with your mind's eye, the essence of your entire new work in vivid color may appear, down to the last detail. That's the way I get my ideas for my artwork. You may hear music, see people dancing and singing, or see a finished painting or sculpture. Then when you open your eyes, you can begin the process of bringing your wonderful creation into being. It will be an original idea inspired by the masters. Being able to create an art form will give you great joy and will help you to develop your imaginative abilities. If you want to, it might be a good idea to write down or draw pictures of any idea that you get from your mind painting after you open your eyes. Try this process of creating often. It can be a wonderful experience of self-expression and that you can share with others to inspire and delight them.
It's amazing. So much in one card. All right, we're going to take a quick break, so everybody stay put. And you guys in the chat room, ask for a reading. It's good. And if you're listening and you're not in the chat room, come over to paraxradionetwork.com and join us and ask. All right, we'll be right back.
Cauldron will be right back, so don't go away. If you end up with webbed feet, remember, you've been warned.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Every youth who walks into Covenant House gets clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. So, look closer at Covenant House and help us fight youth homelessness. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid of? Horror Paranormal Show, Friday nights at 9 p.m. on Para X Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What are you afraid of on Para X?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
Para X. Missed an episode of Stirring the Cauldron? Then be sure to check out marlabrooks.com and check out the archive. And while you're there, check out Marla's weekly Witches Oracle card reading. Explore the site to find many great resources, such as information on tarot, oracle readings, metaphysical consultations, and links to all of Marla's books. That's marlabrooks.com. Welcome back to Stirring the Cauldron. Once again, here's your host, Marla Brooks.
And we're back talking about the Oracle deck, and it's really good. It's really interesting, and I have somebody that wants a reading. So,
Wow.
You ready? It's Kathy. She'd like a reading.
A reading. Do you want me to choose a card that I think would fit her?
I'm not sure how you want to do it. I guess just pull a card, or like I said, your deck is a little bit different than what I know. So, like for me, I just pulled it right out. I just shuffled and grabbed a card. So whatever you think is the right way to do it.
Well, how would you like to do it? How would she like to do it?
I think she's open to just about anything. So if you just pull a card, or whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Okay. Well, what I pulled was a picture of a little elf at the window with the moon and stars, and the title is "Opportunity Comes: Magical Surprises." Does that resonate with you for anything?
I know that you said magical, and she is a magical person. So I'm giving you that much.
I'll just read a couple sentences. It says,
no, you can read the whole thing. I mean, it's interesting.
Oh, sure. Well,
yeah.
You may sometimes feel that something is lacking in your everyday life, but you can't really understand what is missing. You only know that your world has become somewhat lackluster and unimaginative. So if an opportunity would manifest to you that seemed exciting, you might jump to the occasion. You would be excited to let it take you by the hand to go toward a new path rather than having to continue along the tried and true road you have been on for a long time. Sometimes opportunities appear out of nowhere in a very unexpected way, but if you are wise, you should always think first before you jump into a new and different situation. Consider if there might be any tangled webs you could fall into before you leap forward to the new experience. Often cultivating a keen intuition would be very helpful in making the very important decision as to whether or not to open the door to a new opportunity. Consider the many repercussions that could happen if you make the wrong choice. Investigate the qualifications of the parties who offer you an opportunity that would be very life-changing. It might require you to give up some important things that you've strived to accomplish for a long time. But why don't we just try a little bit of pretending, just for fun? Live a fantasy. What would you do if you had a surprise visit on your windowsill by a magical elf who promised you an exciting adventure if you would come away with him? Would you immediately take his hand and join him on this fantastic opportunity? The answer might be yes, if you were an innocent child who loved fairy tales and yearned for an amazing storybook adventure. You probably would jump at the chance. Let's pretend that this is the case. So just for fun, throw caution to the winds, let your hair down, and join him in a fantasy. Imagine the fun of an adventure that you would have with this little elf or fairy if they came to visit you. In your imagination, become a little girl or boy with no responsibility who's able to jump into a magic carpet ride to fairyland. Don't forget to write and come back to reality soon. Have fun with your dreams.
You know, what I think when you pull a card, I think for some reason the universe makes it that it works for that person. I mean, it's the one that they need to hear, you know, and sometimes, you know, it's not always a good message, but I think yours are. So, yeah, I think pulling a card once a day maybe to get off, or maybe once a week to find out what's going on during the week or something, because I can't see doing spreads with it, but well, you can. As you said, you could put your hand over it and be drawn to certain ones, and it might, you know, give you some idea.
Right, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, we got another taker. Lily would like you to draw a card for her.
Okay. Let's see. You're going to laugh at this one. It's called Frog Prince. And it's a picture of a frog with a crown on his head sitting on a lily pad with a big smile. To some, a frog may be a funny, almost comical-looking creature, but they have very spiritual connotations too, such as being a symbol of resurrections. That's because they are amphibians moving from water to earth. Their life seems so magical since they go through an amazing metamorphosis from an egg to tadpole, then to a little froglet in the water, which evolves into the handsome frog that we all know and love. They are an inspirational, lucky symbol to us that we too have the ability to transform into higher, more joyful and creative souls. Of course, there's a famous tale by the Brothers Grimm of the Frog Prince. In this story, a princess meets a little frog who wants to kiss her and marry her in return for retrieving her golden ball in the pond. At first, she's repulsed by the frog and refuses his advances. But we all know that he's really a handsome prince who is cursed and turned into a frog by a wicked witch. The moral of the story is that one shouldn't always judge people by the way they look on the outside, because the way they are inside is more important. By the way, the frog in the story changed into his handsome self after the princess agreed to kiss him at last. He had awakened her heart with love, and so we should learn this truth. Don't always judge a book by its cover. That's because there might be a handsome, special someone or something lying hidden beneath the strange exterior. And I have an affirmation included. So when you feel the need, say this: I will always try to search for the truth, no matter where it is hidden. At first, it might not glitter like gold, and it might not be beautiful or sparkling, but when I find it, I will know that it is genuine, sincere, and honest. Be it a person or an idea, I will take comfort knowing that I found the true fortune for which I've been looking, and I will feel overjoyed and safe with my genuine treasure. I love frogs.
I do too, except the poison. Well, I like to look at them. Not that I don't want to pick up a poisonous one, but just want you to know that Kathy said that the reading was amazingly on point. Fantastic.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
and thank you.
Well,
and
you.
Lily said the same thing. She's got a little Brussels Griffin dog sitting next to her, and that's kind of like the little frog on the toadstool. And
yes, definitely.
Takes it that he's having some issues, and maybe this is an omen that it's going to improve, which is good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Dewey's a cute little, really cute. Yeah. All right. So this is your first Oracle deck?
Oh no, I've done 4. Let's see. The first one I contributed to was an Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue from Hay House.
Yeah.
I contributed 9 of my paintings to the Magical Messages from Fairies Oracle card. And then my artwork was also used for 2 other inspirational card decks with text written by my friend Frances Monroe. It was published by U.S. Games, entitled Inspirational Wisdom from Angels and Fairies and Joyful Inspirations. Now, my first Oracle card deck entitled Inspirational Visions is the first one I've done completely myself, both the concept, text, and artwork. And it's full of imagination and creativity. It was published by Red Feather Mind, Body, Spirit, a division of Schiffer Publishing Company. And then my second Oracle card deck, which is a companion to the first one that I also both wrote and illustrated, just came out on the market. And it's this deck we've been speaking about, called Dream Your Joy, also published by Red Feather Mind, Body, Spirit. So. Yeah,
I guess I'm a little bit behind, because I think last time when you were on, and my memory serves, it was about a book of fairy tales.
Yes, right.
Yeah. And why don't you tell everybody about that really quickly, too, and then I've got another reading for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I have many different kinds of books and other products that you can find at my website. And you'll see my art gallery with my paintings and my shop page, which includes art prints, wall murals, cross-stitch clothing, original paintings, and my book page with information about all of my published books to date. So that's it. My last 2 books, the first one was an original fairy tale I wrote called The The Magic Blanket, about a little girl who goes off to a fantasy land. And then the second book is a poetry book, so it is poems in the public domain.
Mm.
There's a lot of books there, though. I illustrated, Twinkle Little Star, and all kinds of books, poetry books, and books on fairies. There's a lot to look at. So you just go to my website, www.judymastrangelo.com.
Yeah. I mean, you just have so many things, and I was looking on the website, and I mean, you do murals, and they're it's one thing to look at a card or in a book or even a print, but a mural is amazing.
Well, I didn't actually do. I don't paint real large paintings on walls.
No, but people can blow your.
The mural company, Magic Murals, takes one of my paintings and they blow it up the size of a wall, and it's so you're living in one of my paintings.
Yeah, that's and especially like for kids, there's a well, okay, I'm a big kid. I would want a mural,
Oh yeah, and then you can read my books inside the land that I paint on the wall, so it's quite a interactive thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, well, let's get to the other reading. It's for Cece.
Okay. Let's see. Fairy of the Azaleas. Being little can be a big thing. So, as a picture of a little azalea fairy, and she felt sad one day. It's a little story. And she said to her mother, I wish I wasn't such a tiny fairy. I want to be big like a giant and stand atop a mountain so I can see way far away. I could run and jump so high that I could touch the sun and run to the edge of the earth in 1 minute. Her mother fairy laughed as she stroked her little fairy's hand. Don't you think that you can do many things that the huge giant can't do? She asked. Why, you can hop around with your tiny grasshopper friends, drink delicious flower nectar with the tiny butterflies, and hear the funny buzzing stories told by the bees. That's something that the big giants could never hope to do because they're too giant. Then little Azalea Fairy smiled happily, knowing that she enjoyed being little as much as the giants had fun being large. I can sit upon my own mountain. It's a mountain of azalea flowers, she giggles. And the affirmation I wrote is, say this to yourself when you have the need. I will remember that we all have talents and our wonderful lives to lead. We can be happy also if we strive to improve ourselves as we see the wonders of others. But I will never forget that we too are unique in ourselves. So I will try to be of the mind of a tiny being like a fairy who can enjoy the intricate world of the small world. And I will also take in the world of a giant who can experience the world of a larger view from a mountaintop.
That makes sense. Question came in. I don't know if you answered it or not before, but she said, do the visions in the cards come first and then the writing much later, or is it simultaneous?
Well, usually the visions come first, or else an idea might come first and the vision might come simultaneously. It all depends, but the visions are usually just coalesce in my mind, and then it's sort of like a stream of consciousness, and I don't do preliminary drawings. A lot of people do. I just look at my canvas, my white canvas on my easel, and the image sort of appears, and I then transfer my mind painting onto the canvas, and then the idea for a poem, or it might go into a story that I'm writing. So it's sort of all together. No rules, though. They just flow.
Okay. Sherry would like a reading as well.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Joyful Fairy. There are so many things in our lives that can make us happy. Of course, it's only human to feel forlorn and sad at times, but we can build on our distress to find a way out of the mist of gloom. The fairy of joy will come to cheer you and uplift your spirits if you reach out to her. Open the window of your soul to welcome her in. She will appear on a breeze of fresh air, bedecked in delightful sparkling dewdrops and starry flowers. A meditation is breathe deeply, seated in a room with your eyes closed. Feel the magnificent violet color of the crown chakra emanate from the top of your head and radiate in the air. You will feel a lovely, blissful spirituality move in waves throughout your body. It will leave you warm and relaxed, yet delightfully rejuvenated and hopeful. Know then that the joyful fairy has visited you and will come again often if you wish for her. So this affirmation you can whisper when you have the need. Oh, joyful fairy, please lift me from my dejection. I feel so melancholy and alone. I need to be with you and fly and float with you through the air. Teach me how to turn my despair into hope and my failures into self-fulfillment. Help me to smile again, laugh again, and love life again. I open the window of my soul to you. Please visit with me. Oh, I see you now. There you are. Thank you for coming. I'm so grateful to you. I feel blessed.
I like that.
Thank you.
And I have to mention that this made me giggle because, Schiffer and Redfeather, they're noted about their boxes, how good their boxes are, how weird their boxes are, weird in a good way, right? Yeah. So I get yours, and it kind of looks like a book, sort of, kind of.
Right.
And I could not figure out how to open it.
Yeah, I know. You have to just sort of pull it apart.
I was pushing it in. I thought maybe it would slide through, and then I was looking for something that looked like it was going to open up, and it didn't, and I felt like a stupid idiot. Finally got there, and now it's easy, but I really do love their boxes. They do some very clever things with them, and
yes.
So hopefully when my plant cards come up, I wonder what kind of box it'll be, because we don't really have a choice of boxes. We might have a choice of pictures, but we never know what they're going to do.
Right. Yes, that's true. I was blown away when I first saw my first oracle deck with them, too. It came in a box like this, so these are like twins, and you put it on the shelf, and it looks like a big book.
Yeah. It was just... Yeah, because even if you stand it up, and put it on a bookshelf, there's the title and everything that you need to do. Right. So, it is very much like a book.
Yeah.
But, some of us, like me, just are not kind of mechanically inclined. If it's not obvious, I might not be able to open it. But
you are not alone. I was the same way.
So are you planning to do any other oracle decks in the near future or in the future?
Yes. I'm delighted to be now teaming up with a very talented author. You might recognize his name, J.R. Rivera, who is writing the text to several oracle card decks that I'm doing the artwork for. He's extremely knowledgeable about tarot cards and oracle cards decks, and he's authored several very successful ones, such as the beautiful Creatures Tarot first and second editions. They're all beautifully illustrated by the talented Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Now, I really look forward to our future projects that Jay and I are collaborating on together. So he's a wonderful person.
Wow. See, it's always nice to have something in the works. You know, it doesn't have to be on paper, but it's something in the works that keeps you busy. And I always think that one project leads to another. And it may not be in the same genre, but somehow the door's open. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it's very exciting when life just turns up something new and interesting. It's always a thrill. It's never really boring, unless you want it to be. Don't wallow in boredom. Just go with it and go find opportunities and just extend yourself.
Yeah, well,
life
I
is
think
magical.
It very much is, and you have to take the time to notice, though. I mean, it's all around you, but some people just don't see it. Either they don't believe it, or they just are too busy, which is terrible. But yeah, I think the universe works in mysterious ways, in good mysterious ways, and whether we like it or not. And sometimes we don't like it, but they're honest and truthful, and yeah. So tell everybody again where we can find your oracle decks and, the books, the products, all that good stuff.
You can visit, as I mentioned, you can visit my website. It's easy to remember, www.judymastrangelo, mastrangelo.com. And you can also you can see a lot of stuff on my website. Such as there are many companies that sell my art prints, wall murals, cross-stitch patterns, home decor, clothing, other oracle decks, original paintings, and my books. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Goodreads, and also sign up for my newsletter to find out what's happening in my magical world. You can find that on my website, too. So there's a lot of things.
Wow, more than a lot of things. I mean, my hat's off to you. I get one or two things, and I start getting a little crazy, more than two things, and it's like, okay, I just don't have time to do this, and I don't have time to do that, but I got to do that. It gets like that.
Yeah,
but
I'm that way. But it's all fun, though.
It is. When you're doing something you love doing, we piss and moan sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's fun. It's good, and we have to be thankful for that. We have the ability to do that stuff.
And to be alive and to try to be as healthy and happy as we can. Mm-hmm. That's important.
That's first. Yeah, that comes first. And then everything else falls into place.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. And next time you have a new project, give me a holler.
Well,
and we'll do something about that. And let's thank everybody that's listening in, whether they're listening now live or they'll be listening on the podcast, which is going to be all over the place these days. So thank you, everybody. And let's blessed be and merry meet again. Good night.
This has been another edition of Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time for another great guest and more fun. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2009.
You have been listening to the Para X Radio Network.